Welcome to McDonald's Coaches Bench here on Mix 104.1. Each and every week we have Coach Tygard with us, and each and every week it's sponsored by Mark Smith and everybody at the area McDonald's restaurants. And go by, great food, great atmosphere, everybody knows about McDonald's. Also, thanks to CHS Live, Dale Halfacre, his group do the production of this program each and every week, and beautiful area, beautiful space to be doing a broadcast from, and we appreciate he and his staff for doing such a great job each and every week. This week a little bit different for Coach Tygard and myself. We usually do a midweek program, Coach's Bench by McDonald's. This week, due to some scheduling situations for me, it's going to be an early week broadcast, so things may have changed somewhat between now and when this is aired at the end of the week. Nevertheless, Coach's Bench with Coach Tygard. Coach, a region win last week, which is always great. You only get 5 chances at region opponents, and last week Farragut comes down, you give them 1 touchdown late, and a big region win. You're 1-0 in the region.
Yeah, it was a good win. So it was a good night. I thought we had a great crowd. People were a little late getting in, but I looked up in the first quarter and it was packed. Student section did a great job, so they were all painted up.
They were ready.
It was the first ever football fiesta night, which was a big hit. So you saw the flags and all the students. I think we're the first one in the state to do a full live stream in Spanish while another live stream is going on in English. And if you hadn't checked that out from last week, you need to, because it is really neat. Those kids were super into it, and we're going to post some of the highlights from their calls, and it was pretty impressive, how they were.
It was impressive on the field and in the stands, and it's great to see the community and the student body so excited at a sporting event.
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody's just real excited this year. It's nice, year 2, I told you it's going to be totally different, and it's nice to be winning. It's nice to be 4-0. So I think that's the first time in 16 years that the Blue Raiders have been 4-0. So we're excited about all that, where everybody's playing well. In the game, you saw some special kids that showed out. So we were just talking about the players of the week before we got on the air. But like Braden Carroll had a great game. AJ
Yes.
Westfield again did. Chase Stevens played the majority of the reps this week at quarterback, and I thought did a solid job. We didn't run the ball as well as I would have liked, but they were really trying to bottle up Isaiah, which opened, the big passes that we got off during the game. And then defensively, we just played great. We only had 40 plays of offense the entire game. They held the ball for over 30 minutes in the game, and I thought our defense just did a great job to have 5 takeaways when we haven't really had a lot this year. That's huge. So now we're +3 in the turnover margin for the season. Special teams played really well, which is always big against Farragut. We had some good kick returns. David Dinatolis, I know, on kickoff coverage, and Thavin Scruggs had a tackle. David Yancey had a great game. So there was a lot of people to give a shout-out to, so it was a good win.
Absolutely a great win. It was good to see Yancey come up with those 2 picks. He's fairly new to the team, and for him to come away with such a good game, that's inspiring.
Yeah, I think he got his first start against McMinn County and had 10 tackles in the game, and then I think he had another 10 tackles the next week. He's had a big season this year, and then 2 interceptions. David Dinatolis had another 10-tackle game.
Yes,
and so he's just come on out of nowhere this season, and something's clicked, and he got with Coach Jones, and Coach Jones is a master motivator of teenagers. And so, David is having an unbelievable season. I mean, he's up there with AJ with his defensive stats and tackles for loss and sacks, and AJ's arguably the best D lineman in the state. So he's had a great start to the season. So we're just happy where we're at. I do think that we could have played a little better, especially offensively, because we're trying to take the next step. If you're a top 5 team, which we're consistently ranked now, we should really be getting to the level to where you're starting to really separate yourself from the other team.
Right.
The JV players can get in the game. You can take, we took some kids out very late, but we would like the whole JV team to go out there and play on a Friday night in front of everybody. And so I felt like we got a little relaxed in the third quarter. And then the big fumble recovery for a touchdown really got us going. But that's the next step we got to take is, if you're playing an opponent that you feel good about, and you're scoring, getting way ahead and we got to get to the running clocks and then get the JV guys out there.
Very good point. And it was a good game. Weather was perfect despite all the predictions. It just shows, who knows what's going to happen a few days from now. But it turned out good, very, very good, and an excited crowd. And some very deserving people were inducted into the Cleveland High Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's neat. So, and then, we did a special presentation for Mark and got him a custom jersey with his name on it for Mark Smith and McDonald's, who sponsored our jerseys this year. So Hall of Fame night's good. There's always something going on Friday night. So this week, you got homecoming, and you've got the pediatric cancer awareness night. And so we're doing a lot for that, for them and that cause. And so there's always something going on. And so it's going to be another good week this week. And we're at home again.
Thankfully, 3 in a row. And one thing about Cleveland football, and this is something Coach Tygard brought here, is that each home game is going to have a lot of special activities. It's not just kickoff at 7, go home at 10. There's always something, pregame, halftime, postgame, and Cleveland High is making Friday nights a spectacle and not just come, see the game, go home.
Yeah, and that's not just me. I mean, that's Al Morris, our athletic director, who does a great job with all the script and the pregame and postgame, and we're trying to keep the DJ on track and the band playing, and you got 2 bands, and there's a whole lot of production going on. Not to mention Dale Halfacre and the CHS Live people and the Jumbotrons, and now we got 3 live streams going on in the game between you guys and CHS Live people. I mean, there's just a lot of options, a lot of things going on, but it's really neat because it involves so many students, and it involves, our entire community, not just the whole school. Whether you're in the student section, the band, cheer, dance, CHS Live, or any of those departments. But everybody's showing out to the game, and so that's why high school football is neat, especially in small towns, is everybody's out there, and it involves almost the entire community.
Absolutely, and when you're 4-0, first time in 16 years, really adds to the attraction. We'll take our first break here on McDonald's Coaches Bench with Coach Tygard, and we'll be back right after this.
September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. It is time to honor and remember children fighting this disease. Childhood cancer is not rare. Hundreds of kids locally are fighting every day. We can honor them by bringing awareness to this disease. That is why Cleveland, Tennessee is going gold. Will you join us? Because all kids deserve a cure.
Coach, tell us a little bit about the two guys that had such good games last week, Donatolis and also Yancey.
So David's he's come on, this season, really since the McMinn County game. He had 10 tackles in that game, then did it again on Friday. So he's playing defensive end, linebacker. He's kind of everywhere. But if you notice, he makes the majority of the tackles on kickoff also. So he's had a great season this year. And then David Yancey came over from McCallie right before the season started, and then has really found a home in like kind of our nickel star position. Can play some linebacker, can play some safety, some DB, and then also super involved on special teams as well. So he's just done a great job. And honestly, that's the whole defensive staff. I mean, Coach Maines is well known and does a great job. But Coach Bohannon is our linebackers coach. Coach Jones does our defensive line. And then a former player of mine, Coach Stallcup, coming over and helping with the DBs. So they've just done a great job this year. And it helps, when you're really good on defense, you see we've changed a little bit the way we play on offense.
Right.
And it helps a lot when you're that good on that side of the ball.
I'm always trying to pick your brain about somebody who's the first 4 games has come along maybe more than was expected in preseason and maybe has yet to get some recognition or hasn't been given enough recognition. Now, we could talk about Davis, Westfield, all of those guys, and we do each week, but somebody that might have been overlooked as far as getting some publicity is concerned.
The first kind of guys that come to mind, there's a couple. One on defense is Nate Shropshire, who was a starter the majority of the season last year, and he's just done a solid. He's a very good tackler for being such a little guy. Reggie Hubbard, same situation.
Yes.
So Reggie, his job is to lock down the number 1 receiver for every team. So he followed number 11, Landon Collins, around the whole game. I think he had a couple catches, but no touchdowns. Reggie shut down the best receiver at Clinton. We put him on the best receiver at Walker Valley. And that kid didn't have a touchdown. So Reggie's had a great year on defense, and then comes over to offense some. Trent Collins offensively does a lot more than what people realize. He's one of our best blockers out there, and he caught a couple balls on Friday, but he's so consistent to where I know and I trust him, and I know I could call a play that I haven't called in 3 weeks, but he's going to remember it. And so we're trying to find ways to use him a little bit more and give us some versatility, especially on the punt team and some other ways there. We actually called a trick play, but Coach Akins called a timeout during the Walker Valley game where Trent was about to do a double pass. So he's just a great athlete. He can do a lot of things. And so those are the first ones kind of coming off the top of my head.
Let's go back. A great point about Collins is the fact that you haven't called a play in 3 weeks, and yet he will remember what to do. I'm guessing for 14, 15, 16-year-old kids, sometimes that might be a challenge where you haven't run a play in a few weeks and you call it, you see the situation where it's going to be a perfect play, but then somebody might forget. I know you go through stuff every day in practice.
You're probably thinking the one play I did call that I haven't called in a while. We hadn't called it since 7-on-7, and 3 out of the 4 receivers ran into each other. So
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, that happened, and Trent was the only one that did it right.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not going to that play because I don't even remember the play. I'm kind of like the player. Sometimes, you remember things, sometimes you don't. But anyway, that's just a great quote there where Collins would know the play from a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he wants to be. He's looking into being a coach. So he's doing his capstone project in coaching, and so he would be a great football coach one day because he's super smart. I mean, he's a team player. He'll do whatever we ask. If we wanted him to go play the linebacker or defensive line, he would go do it. So he's definitely one that we're proud of. Happy to have him, and he's doing a great job this season. And we're consistently trying to find ways to use his talents.
Let's take our final break on McDonald's Coaches Bench with Coach Tygard. We'll be back right after this, and the subject will be Rhea County's Golden Eagles.
En este primer cuarto.
Vamos 0-0.
Toma el balón.
Toma el Braden Carroll.
Se mete para adentro.
Ahí va, sigue
solo.
Braden Carroll solo.
Braden Carroll, touchdown.
Braden Carroll.
Número 2. Braden Carroll.
De Braden Carroll.
muy usado hoy. Ya lleva ya 15 yardas corridas y más de 50 yardas recibiendo. Entonces
Sí.
algo grande, ¿no? Para él. Recibe el
Otra
balón
vez.
JC3.
J3. Busca.
Muy para la
Busca.
mano.
Sigue.
Tratando de llegar.
J3.
¡Touchdown! ¡J3! Un touchdown de Cleveland. Un gran partido hoy. Ahora arriba otra vez en el marcador. Otro touchdown para Cleveland. Y para el orgullo de todos los de Cleveland. Que pura sangre fría tienen acá. Es poner puntos, ¿no?
Sí, no.
Necesita hacerlo y
menos de 12.
pienso que esta es la jugada perfecta para hacerlo, porque si no lo hacen ahora y Cleveland pone otro touchdown va a ser muy
Entonces
difícil
va a ser muy bien
regresar.
para alcanzar de
Va
nuevo.
a ser difícil para
Sí.
alcanzarlos.
Sí.
Recibe el balón. Aquí está Hack.
Lanza lo pide Noah Hack. Busca.
Mira para la izquierda. Está
Ahí viene
mirando
David,
espacio,
Donatales. Y lo
David
tumba
Donatales.
Donatales. Ya van 3 que tiene David Donatales que tumba al QB. David Donatales lo hace de nuevo.
Un joven también desde el año pasado.
Que siga para adelante, Cleo no han parado todo este partido. Game More con el balón solo lo recupera y se va y dale. Y se va y se mete en la área de la zona y mete y touchdown.
Tygard, you're facing a familiar foe as far as Rhea County, Cleveland is concerned. That has been true battles over the years. Longtime Cleveland fans can remember going across the river, coming back disappointed. Rhea County and Cleveland were bitter rivals for years and years. Things have kind of changed over there the last few years, and now it's changed even more with a new coach who was the defensive coordinator at Walker Valley last year. So you're facing a brand new, I would think, style of coach from what Rhea County has been known for the last few years.
Yeah, they're a lot different than last year. So they look a lot like Walker Valley. So they run the same offense. They run the same defense they did last year because Walker Valley changed this year. And they're doing a good job, so they're much improved. They try to run the ball. They'll take a couple deep shots. They're running mostly gap scheme, power and counter with multiple tight ends. 1 and 2 tight end sets, and then on defense it's the 3-3 stack. It's very different. It's similar to what Clinton did, but Clinton was bringing a lot of blitzes from everywhere, where they kind of play more base defense and really want you to screw it up. Get a penalty, turn the ball over, do something like that. They're where they're supposed to be in sound, and they're going to try to take away big plays. And if it's a run, they fail to run fast, and if it's a pass, they're dropping back fast. And so they do a good job. And it'll be a good game on Friday night. It's homecoming for us, so that always adds a lot of distractions that coaches don't love. We did our first Raider Way against Walker Valley, where all the players with all A's and B's and no tardies and no absence. They got out at 11:30, and we took them to the movies. And it was good, but at the same time, it's different than a normal game day. So we've got a volleyball game at 2:00 on Friday this week, and so that's different. So anytime you're adding dress-up days or homecoming or parades, or I think AJ's in the homecoming court as well as another one of our players. So anytime you start adding all those distractions, coaches don't love that. And that's exactly what Rhea County's hoping for.
Yes.
And so, they're going to hold the ball and try to make it a game, and, do a similar, style that Farragut, some of these other teams have tried.
I'm laughing inside and outside. Of all the football coaches I've ever interviewed here at Cleveland High School, no one yet has enjoyed homecoming week. I mean, it goes back to day one, and football coaches and homecoming, it's like no mix at all.
Yeah.
And I understand it, but it's just, you're carrying on a tradition, and I think it's a tradition statewide,
Nobody
not
likes
just
them.
here.
And then you know how I am. I'm very into the students getting involved, and I want the students to be involved in pep rallies and dress up. And I mean, the coaches will dress up. Like
Right.
we want to be involved in it, but there's a fine line, and you don't want to cross into a distraction level. So it's the same thing with the way we run practices, and we have a lot of fun. We've got music and barber shops. That one's getting a whole lot of publicity this year.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, you don't want anything to be a distraction from winning, and so that's the fine line. Is you got to enjoy it and have fun, but not cross that line.
Hey, I'm with you on that, but if you had said, "Oh yes, I love homecoming games," I probably would have stopped the program right there. we would have said, Coach, are you feeling bad today or something? Because, yes, you're carrying on the tradition of homecoming. You want it. You want the kids to have fun, yet there's a ball game involved right there.
Yep.
Okay. On the Rhea County defense, and you talked extensively about the Clinton defense on the 3-3 stack, where they're sending people from everywhere and hoping that, that one of your old linemen will go or look at the wrong person, and a blitz is going to come by him. He won't pick it up. So it's a little different in my thinking about where that's not the problem for the offensive line this week. It's just that they're going to line up like that, but you probably know where they're coming from.
No, they still are similar to Clinton, to where they do a lot of slanting and a lot of movement, and they're undersized compared to our guys, just as Walker Valley was last year. So they're going to line up in a gap and slant to another gap, or they're going to do that deal. But they're not as aggressive with pressures as Clinton was. Clinton sent 5 or 6 men 100% of the time, every single snap, to where Ray usually is sending a 3-man rush more than they are the others. So by sending a 3-man rush, they actually keep 5 guys, 5-6 yards off the ball. Their defensive line even plays a yard off the ball. And so it's really interesting to where they'll only have 3 guys, within a yard, but they have 5 guys. It's a true 3-5, 5 linebackers sitting behind them, ready to go attack the ball carrier. And what it does is it's getting our big guys, like if we're running, a zone play, for example, it gets them out in space on a smaller guy that's quicker, that's going to try to juke us out to come make the tackle, and they've been pretty successful at it. So it's like getting Stonewall out there in space, and we might get 1 or 2 yards head start, but now this smaller player is coming at us and trying to run around and make a tackle for loss. So they read their keys really well, and they're real aggressive, but it's a totally different style of defense than what we've seen since week 1. And so that's the challenge is, you definitely have to adjust to what they're doing.
Anybody that's within 5 yards of Stonewall, I just feel sorry for him.
Yeah, yeah. As long as he can get his hands on him. So that's
if he can get his hands on him,
they're going to try to get away from him.
Game over.
Yeah, but if he gets on him, then it's painful. Sometimes.
He leaves bruises, and then AJ Westfield. We've used so many superlatives on him that we're kind of running out of what to call him. I mean, I call him the package sometimes when he comes in on offense, and he manhandles offensive linemen and anybody that gets in his way. And you hit the nail on the head. First of the year, you said, breakout year. He's going to be something really special, and he's turned out exactly that way.
Yep. I mean, I think I heard somebody saying it's 3rd and AJ or 4th and AJ if he's on the goal line, and if we hand it to him, no one wants to tackle that kid. And then on 3rd down, he's just doing so well, getting so much pressure on the quarterbacks. I mean, so far every quarterback we've played has been knocked down a bunch. Farragut's, one of their kids, was knocked out, unfortunately, on a big hit from Reggie on a 4th down. But we get after quarterbacks if you're going to pass it on us. But that's the difference this year in this team is where our run defense is so solid that it's just caused so many issues to force teams to throw the ball. And then once they get in passing situations, we have so many different looks and blitzes and twists and craziness. I mean, our defensive playbook is deep. So if you're getting in 3rd and long, it's going to be a hard game.
Yeah. Rhea County 2-1 on the year. They lost a shootout at Saudi Daisy, one of their arch rivals, the first of the year, and they come along with 2 wins since then. They're 2-1 coming into the Cleveland game. They're putting a lot of points on the board, but they've not seen the Cleveland defense. And, Coach, their game at Howard was canceled last week. Any thoughts on helping them with a week off or hurting them with
they
the week
were at
off?
our game on Friday. Their coaches were, so it does give them a chance to come watch us in person. And you know what, I think that's a big deal to be able to do that. So, so it helps in that regard. At the same time, though, it's like a bye week, and I'm not sure how much they prepared for Howard, and then didn't get to play. So we're a bye week. They would be preparing for us the whole week. Yeah. So I don't know on that situation. It's unfortunate anytime kids don't get to play. You know, I know that some other games were moved due to safety concerns and played, but I just hate it. It reminds me of COVID. You know, you only get 10 weeks a year to play, and a lot of teams do a lot of work. So if you don't play a game, that's really unfortunate. That's why we add JV games like crazy. So we added a freshman game literally last night to play against Sweetwater's JV Monday night. And as many of those games as we can get for our kids, that's the key. So we do a lot of work for very little games in this sport. So we want to play as many as we can.
So much difference in baseball, basketball, and the beautiful game of football. That's going to wrap up Coach's Bench this week with Coach Tygard. We enjoy it every week. We hope you do. Thanks to Dale and his staff at CHS Live. Thanks to Coach Tygard. I'm telling you, he's the busiest man in Cleveland. He gives us what time he can, and the rest of the time, that motor's going 24 hours a day. For this is Terry Evans saying for McDonald's Coach's Bench. See you next week.
Was in love, they got me filled up a Patron bus and take you around. A couple of guys inside of the school, I gave them the tools to get it off ground. They say they're the ones when they make their ears, can't look in the mirror. Stand on the stage, I give them the rage, I'm turning it down. Containing keep flowing, doing the streets. We do it for keys, we do it for rights. I'm 52 east, this shit ain't for pleasure, I'm coming to tweak. This shit's forever, ain't anything up in 8 years, we write it and rap it and write it and rap it and write.